Hello fellow traveler, I'm Dr. Ru and welcome to my channel. In this channel I talk about all things mental health. Imagine that you go into a dark room and initially you bump into a few furniture before you could identify your friend sitting in the dark. Your friend, we'll call him Joe, tells you about how dark his room is and how many times he bumped into furniture and how sad it has been for him to be in this state. You look puzzled because the solution is so simple. Simply open the curtains, change the light bulbs, and there you go. You have light again and you don't have to deal with this dire situation. So without much hesitation or thought, you recommend to Joe to simply do just that. Change the light bulb, open the windows, and let the light in. Joe becomes frazzled. Yes, I know it, he says. It appears so simple, but I'm sitting here in this chair and not ready to get up, he tells you. He then goes on to complain about how hard it has been for him to be in this state and sitting in here in the dark. It has been days, maybe weeks or months. He has lost all track of time. And now you become really frustrated. Again, you recommend for Joe to simply let the light shine in. All you need is to get up and open the curtains. Here you go, I can help you, you even suggest. Joe becomes so aggravated. You're not hearing me, he says. I'm telling you that I'm in the dark. Now, this situation is oftentimes more common than you think. We often fall into the trap of offering solution, making quick fixes, and in the process, we're failing to listen. Listening is so much harder than you think. But the good news is that it's a skill that you can get better at, and in the process, improve your relationships with others. Active listening was first coined in 1957 with a paper written by Carl Rogers and Richard Farson. Rogers and Farson mentioned that listening has three major components: empathy, genuineness, and unconditional positive regard. A lot of times when we are engaged in conversations, we tend to be in our heads, already planning an answer or thinking about something entirely different. In the process, we are missing out important nonverbal cues and essentially having a hard time connecting and staying present. In the prior example, we completely failed Joe by trying to offer a solution rather than recognizing that he was alone, in the dark, and needed company. When we're using active listening, we listen carefully to information and observe nonverbal cues. Active listening is also involved feedback in the form of paraphrasing. When I think about active listening, sometimes the book The Art of Racing in the Rain comes to mind, specifically in the scenes when Enzo the dog talks about his ability to be a great listener. In the book he says, "Here's why I will be a good person. Because I listen. I cannot speak, so I listen very well. I never interrupt. I never reflect the course of the conversation with comments from my own. People, if you pay attention to them, change direction of one another's conversation constantly. It's like having a passenger in your car who suddenly grabs the steering wheel and turns you down a side street. For instance, if we met in a party and I wanted to tell you a story about the time I needed to get a soccer ball in my neighbor's yard, but his dog chased me and I had to jump into a swimming pool to escape and began telling you the story, you hearing the words soccer and neighbor in the same sentence might interrupt and mention that your childhood neighbor was Pele, a famous soccer player. And I might be courteous and say, Didn't he play for the Cosmos of New York? Did you grow up in New York? And you might reply, no, you grew up in Brazil. And I might say, I thought you were from Tennessee. And you might say, not originally, and then go on to outline your genealogy at length. So my initial conversational gambit, that I had a funny story about being chased by my neighbor's dog, would be totally lost. And only because you had to tell me all about Pele. Learn to listen. I beg of you. Pretend you are a dog like me and listen to other people rather than steal their stories. Thankfully, you don't have to be a dog in order to be a good listener. There is hope. You just need to follow these steps. Number 1, give your undivided attention. Paying attention does not mean thinking about what you want to say next. You want to really pay attention to what is being said. What is the content? What is the feeling? What is the need? You don't have to reply to every comment and say it's okay to have a pause or a silence to make sure that the information is really sinking in. Taking a break also gives you a chance to collect some of your thoughts. Show that you're listening. If you're looking at somebody at a blank stare, they don't know what you're thinking. And they might feel that you are holding judgment or not truly understanding what they're saying. We communicate so much with our nonverbals, so using them would be very important. Something as simple as head nodding can go a long way. Making sure that you're maintaining eye contact can be very powerful. Remove all the distractions when someone is talking to you and give them your full attention. They really would appreciate that when you look at them directly rather than on your phone or watching your computer. Being present in the room and showing them that you are fully listening can make a big difference. You can also provide information with verbal responses like, okay, I hear you, tell me more. Don't offer judgment, criticism, solution, just listen. Even if you disagree with somebody, does not mean that you cannot hold space for them to express their needs or thoughts. Head nodding does not necessarily mean that you were in agreement. It's simply a way to communicate ideas that you are listening to them. Number 2, give feedback. Feedback does not mean give an answer or a solution. Feedback means simply a way to tell them, yes, I heard you, I understand what you're telling me, and I can see your experience. In Joe's case, even though the solution appeared to be so simple, change the light bulb, open the window, it missed out the whole real point of being there for Joe and hearing his loneliness, pain, emotional suffering. I invite you to think about all these times when you truly had the answer to everything you needed to do, but it wasn't the right time for you to hear it. Then your friend comes and gives you a lecture about all the things that you know you should be doing. So you feel misunderstood and invalidated. Being validated, being heard, being seen is the point of the act of listening. It's not about offering solution, but it is about being there for somebody and holding space for them to talk and explore. Number 3, responding appropriately is really a key component in active listening. A good way to respond would be first summarizing the information of what you heard. I'm going to go back to Joe for a moment. A good summary would sound like, wow, I can see how it has been hard sitting here for you in the dark for so long. Or you've been sitting here in the dark for such a long time that you've lost track of time and it's been feeling lonely. Again, it's not about offering a quick solution. It's about summarizing what you've heard before moving forward. It's also a way to clarify to Joe that if you missed out anything from what he was telling you, then it will be a chance for him to clarify. Here, it will also be appropriate to encourage the other person to offer ideas and solution before you give them yours. Aim to do 80% of the listening and 20% of the talking. A good rule of thumb is to think about the concept that you have one mouth, but 2 ears. And as such, should be the ratio or the rate of response. I will listen twice before I'm going to offer a response. The ratio is there for a reason. Being an attentive listener is such a powerful tool in helping you connect with people that you care about, becoming a better communicator and even a better leader. Practice those listening skills and see how, by being present and more involved in listening, your relationship might take flight. I hope that you found something that was helpful for you today. If you like what you've heard, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Help me spread the word and reach out to all those who needs to hear this information. Until next time, be well.